Relationships and finances. Have the sacrifices you've made over the last 3 years really been worth it? I'm Sukboy. You're awesome. Let's talk about it. Pisces can be rather vague, and Saturn in Pisces has a self-sacrificing quality about it. Meaning that over the last 3 years, if you've been somewhat vague with your long-term goals, you haven't set boundaries or been disciplined, you may have sacrificed them, at least for the short term. Or these goals will be acquired later on, maybe when Saturn enters Aries, for example. It also has a heightened perception of intuition, but it asks you to master that intuition, to control it, and to use it with caution. And this is because Pisces is inherently conceptual, abstract material that we metabolize within our psyche. Now, Saturn's all about tangible outcomes. So it's asking you to be rather cautious and clarify or confirm your intuitive perceptions of reality before you jump the gun. And there can be consequences involved if you enforce these intuitions without clarifying them first. While Saturn has been in Pisces, it's been influencing that area of the chart. It often symbolizes things like anxieties, fears, doubts. Now, when we see Saturn in Pisces natally, sometimes that can mean low self-confidence or even a proclivity to be rather shy. Venus in Pisces, on the other hand, is kind of different. It's asking you to blossom, experience joy, dissolve all boundaries between you and what you truly love, unify with that other person, thing, situation, event, relationship. Wherever Venus is in the chart, it's representing your money and your relationships. And connection here really is key. Trust is really key here also. It represents your self-worth, what you find valuable. And so you need to ascertain that by actually becoming intimate with someone or something so you know where you stand. How valuable is the someone or the thing? And how valuable are you? What are you bringing to the table? What are they bringing to the table? It speaks to how we cooperate. Now, when we put Saturn and Venus together in Pisces, this can feel rather guarded of those connections. You start to protect them. You've got all this accumulated experience, crisis, trauma around relationships, both with people and money that have fallen through. And Saturn will remind you of that anxiety, that fear, and that doubt. But it's asking you to be very honest with yourself, especially with your relationship to money and finances and other people, your romantic life, for example. It's going to help you with your creativity if you can be very disciplined. More than anything, it's asking you to avoid sweeping fantasies that don't actually exist and you've idealized in some way. Become more disciplined, potentially a little more rigid and protective. And that's really what Saturn and Venus represents when they are conjunct. You can learn to blend this energy rather beautifully. Venus has a softness, gentle forgiveness about it, letting bygones be bygones, being compassionate, dissolving the boundaries between you and another person. But Saturn will ask for structure, and you need to structure these so you don't become a victim of your Venusian idealism. Saturn represents concrete matter, and this conjunction is asking you to define what actually matters in your life. Beautiful ideas need a solid foundation. For many of you, you will potentially end a situationship or start a relationship in this time over this next month. And it is very notable that there is a sextile happening between this conjunction and Uranus. In mythology, Uranus is actually Saturn's father, funnily enough. Now, this is going to ask you to turn rubber into steel or turn steel into rubber. You can stay stagnant or you can change your situations, especially with your finances, your material possessions, and your love life. This conjunction will be ongoing basically the entire month of April when Venus eventually enters the sign of Aries. This is all happening around 25 degrees of Pisces. Do you have any placements in Pisces around 25 degrees within a 10-degree orb? Also, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius, you'll be getting harder aspects known as squares and oppositions. Drop some knowledge. Let me know, what house does Pisces populate in your chart and what placements do you have around that last degree of the sign of Pisces? Hope that helps. Okay, bye.